And Mr. Johnson, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready.
All right.
Kirby Johnson for the defendant.
Alberto Ramirez,
Yes, sir.
would you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. You can put your hand down. Mr. Ramirez, before we proceed, I want to cover some important constitutional rights and protections that you have. First of all, you have the right to remain silent, which means that you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit any written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that have an admission or confession to wrongdoing. You understand you have that right?
Yes.
All right. You also have the right to a jury trial. That means you and your attorney and the state would select 6 people from a jury panel, a group of close to 25, 30 people, randomly selected. You'd select 6 people, and those 6 people would hear the testimony, see the evidence and materials, and they would decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. You understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
You also have the right to confront witnesses or, that is, face your accusers. If you go to trial, you'd have the right, you and your attorney, to cross-examine, question, or challenge any witness who would testify in the trial. That's called the right to confront witnesses. You understand you have that right?
Yes.
There's also another right. The right is to appeal. After all is said and done, and the procedure is finished, you and your attorney, either by yourself or him by himself, or the 2 of you together, would have the right to demand that the higher court would hear and review all the evidence and materials for whatever challenge you wanted to make. That's called the right of appeal. You'd have to follow the rules and use the right forms. There's also time limitations involved, but that's generally the right to appeal. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes.
Also have the right to demand the proceeding be held in the open public courtroom. Because of the pandemic crisis, we're not doing the open public courtroom hearings. We're doing it instead by video conference. That means that we are doing it by computer like we're doing it here. It is being streamed on YouTube, which means that anyone in the world can tune in and watch and hear. But it is not the open public courtroom that is required by the Constitution and the laws. You understand you have that right?
Yes.
Now, just so you know, the state has that right also. So there's 2 of you have the right to demand an open public courtroom. I'm going to show you some paperwork, the forms in this case. That will, in there, besides the discussion we just had verbally. By the way, all of this is being recorded. An official record is being made by Kaylin Rivera, who is a certified court reporter. All of this, if you persist and go through a plea, you give up the rights that I just mentioned. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now, the papers I'm going to show you, they're all going to start off at the top with what I call identifying information. They will have the case number, State of Texas versus Alberto Ramirez Jr., and they'll have the case, the court, county court at law number 5. All the forms except one will have basically that information. The first one I'm going to show you, we're going to share with you on the screen. Starts off with the identifying information, and it is
Ms. Morgan, is she going to do it?
I think Mr. Edelman's going to do that. Who's handling the papers?
I'm handling it, sir.
All right, can you share them with us then?
Yes, sir. Give me a moment.
Thought that was Patty's voice I heard.
All right. you're being shown right now the first of the documents that I'm talking about. You notice at the top the identifying information, case number 647-278. The
Yes.
state of Texas versus Alberto Ramirez Jr. in County Court of Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. Now, after that identifying information, you have the title of the document. This first one, by the way, the titles are all in capital letters and dark print, which is called bold print. This first one is state's consent to video conference. I told you a while ago that you and the state have the right to demand the open public courtroom. This is the form that has been signed by the state that says we agree to do this by video conference. Did you see this document?
Yes, I
before?
signed them earlier.
All right. So this one is by the state. If you'll scroll it, Mr. Edelman,
Yes, sir.
you'll notice it is signed by Caitlin Morgan for the state. They agree to video conference. The next document is called Discovery Acknowledgement. Again, the identifying information, the title of this one is Discovery Acknowledgement. Please notice the very first line talks about Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. That's the law that requires the state to share with you and your attorney the documents, receipts, books, whatever there is that's evidence, so that you have a complete understanding or full understanding of the evidence and the charge and the materials that are there. This document is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney. They're saying that this law has been obeyed. Did you understand that?
Yes.
And that's correct, Your Honor. I signed it. Kirby Johnson.
There you are. And then the next document is yours where you agree to the video conference. Again, the identifying information, the title of this one is Defendant's Consent to Video Conference. It says, I, Alberto Ramirez Jr., and then it goes on to say that you agree with the video conference instead of demanding the open public courtroom. You remember that and you signed it?
Yes.
All right. The next document is called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition. Kirby Johnson, attorney, officer of the court, did you review this document carefully with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right, there's 3 different sentences on there. The first one says that you don't need me to read to you the papers that charge you with DWI with blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. Then the second one says, this is exactly what I've been charged with. And then the third one, what does it say, sir? Can you read that? In this cause, I hereby enter.
No contender.
Okay. To the charge of DWI, you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now, the rest of this document it has 15 parts that are numbered 1 through 15. Number 1 has a vertical stack of little boxes, and next to each box, it's got a different kind of offense or crime, and what is the punishment for it, or can be the punishment. There's only one of all the boxes, there's only one that's check marked. Did you see that it says DWI first with blood alcohol content 0.15 or higher, or more it says, and the fine can be $0 to $4,000 and jail from 0 days to 1 year. Did you see and understand that?
Yes.
All right, where were you born, Mr. Ramirez?
San Antonio.
All right, the paperwork will show obviously that you are a U.S. citizen, okay? There's a reason to ask you that. There's a Supreme Court case that says that we have to know that, because if you were born outside the country and you're not a U.S. citizen, there's several things that have to be done on the record, okay? Obviously, we don't need to because you're a U.S. citizen. In these paragraphs or parts, one of them says that I need you to be sure that you understand that you understand that the deal you've made with the state, I am the one as a judge that has to say yes or no. I'm not bound by the deal you've made. And I can say yes to it or I can say no to it, but I've got to do one or the other. I also can give you any punishment in that range that's right there in front of you. I can give you any punishment, even though it's in the range and it might be higher or heavier than what you agreed to. Now, if I reject your deal and say, no, I'm not accepting this, or if I give you a punishment that's heavier than what you agreed to, in that case, the law would allow you to start all over. And nothing you've said or signed till now would be used against you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Have you ever been given or taken medications for mental health problems?
No.
All right. And have you ever been involved in the sex offender registration program?
No.
Okay. Now, this document, you read it and understood it, is that correct?
Yes.
And you signed it.
Yes.
All right. Scroll it, please. This document, like the others, will be made part of the record. The next document this one is a certification that I make as a judge. Again, identifying information. Then it has trial courts. It says the title is Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Again, a vertical stack of little boxes, and next to each box, there is a statement or declaration about the right to appeal. If you count from the top down, 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5, I am certifying to you, I am marking that for the record. It'll say this is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal. Did you understand that? Right there, it's underlined.
Yes.
That's the, okay, and you understand that and you signed this document, right?
Yes.
All right. The next document is called the Application for Judge-Ordered Community Supervision Probation. I need you to realize and understand that a application for probation, it has certain things that you're telling me by signing it, certain declarations. Did you look at this document carefully with your lawyer?
Yes.
Did you understand what it says?
Yes.
All right. Now, I want to remind you that probation is a written, legal, binding agreement. The agreement is two sides. I will give you, if I find you guilty, which I am telling you now that I will, that's part of the agreement that's been made, then I will give you a punishment that includes jail, locked up in jail. But that part of the punishment will be suspended or probated. And if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then the case will be closed and you don't see the jail again on this charge. Now, if you violate the conditions, you fail to do whatever you're supposed to do, or you do things that you weren't supposed to do, if you violate the conditions, you don't live up to 100% what you're agreeing to do in this agreement, then the state can ask me to give you official notice, bring you in here to court, and if the evidence supports it, I will put you in jail for the agreed amount of time that is in this agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. The next form. By the way, let me say something to make real clear. When I say you have to live up to the conditions of supervision, those conditions will be read to you. They will be in writing. You will sign them and you'll have a copy in your hands. Do you understand it?
Yes.
All right. Now, the form that you're seeing right now, that's the only one that doesn't have the identifying information at the top. And kind of simple, the reason is because this whole document identifies you and a lot of things about you. It is not, this one is not filled out. Did you fill one out?
No.
All right. I am ordering you to fill this out completely. Your name, the whole thing, you can see what it says there. I don't need to read it to you.
Yes.
Where do you work?
Whataburger.
Okay. How long have you been with him?
2 years.
All right. And you work there full time?
Yes.
What are you paid? What are your wages? What do you earn? It may not be wages. If you're a supervisor, you might be on salary.
12.50 an hour.
$12.50 an hour. Okay. That's about a little over 500 a week for 40 hours.
Just about.
Okay. Now I will need from you, in accordance with the form here, 3 different people that will always be able to find you, or that'll always know where you're at. You'll need their name, address, phone number, the relationship you have with them. That's for 3 different people. You'll have to fill that out. Scroll, please. Now, this is the personal information for you. Are you married or single?
Single.
Do you have any children you have to support?
No.
All right. And did you serve in the military?
No.
All right. Do you have a vehicle?
Yes.
What do you have, sir?
Honda Accord.
What year?
2017.
All right. Pretty new. And the color?
Silver.
Okie doke. Now, scroll, please. You're next going to be shown what's called the plea agreement. This is the actual written deal that you've made. The first 2 boxes on this officially will be marked. The first one talks about the fact that you have been informed and reminded you have a right to remain silent. The second one will be marked that shows that you are a U.S. citizen. Then there's the next section that says defendant's acknowledgements. That has 5 boxes. Each one is checked off. Did you understand what it says there where you checked it off?
Yes.
All right. The next section says that they are proceeding against you on the DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. That's commonly called extreme intoxication. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, to the charge of DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher, what is your official plea at this time?
No contest.
No contest. Just to remind you, a no contest plea is taken by this court as a guilty plea. You understand that?
Yes.
And that is sufficient by itself for me to convict you. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now, I am ordering you, as part of this agreement, to appear in the offices of County Court at Law number 5, and you are to have your thumbprint, in accordance with the law, the requirements of law, you have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. You understand that order?
I have to appear in person?
Yes, sir. You have to come in here to the courthouse, to the offices of County Court 5, and have your thumbprint placed on the document.
So
Has to be today?
go around to the back of down the hallway, down the back, and it goes to the courtroom, where the clerks sit.
It has to be today?
No, sir. You have 7 days to get it done.
Okay.
7 days from today. All right.
Can I have I'm sorry, more directions of where that is?
Okay. Do you know where the County Court 5 is?
I could find it.
Okay.
County. It's called County what?
County Court at Law number 5.
Do you know where the courthouse is, Albert?
Yeah. I've been
Okay.
there before.
It's
Okay.
across from the San Fernando Cathedral, sideways.
All right. It's called the Blair of the Reeves, Cadena Reeves Justice Center. It's
Okay.
like a five-story building. It's kind of whitish with trim. It's a good-looking building. It's next to what's called the Paul Elizondo Tower, the 10-story tower. It's
Okay.
across from the old red courthouse. Now, to be more accurate, if you want to write it down, it's 300 Dolorosa.
Okay, got it. County
Okay.
Court 5, right?
Yes, sir. It's on the 4th floor. Look at your hand. It's 5. It's a handful. It's 5. County Court 5. 5 fingers, 5, Court 5.
4th floor.
There's
Okay.
a hallway. There's a hallway behind the actual courtroom. And once you get in that hallway, you can find us real easy. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. You're sentenced to 1 year Bexar County Jail. That is probated for 1 year, suspended for 1 year. Okay? You are fined $500. You're to perform 48 hours of community service restitution. Scroll, please. You are to, in good faith, register, enroll, and complete the DWI education program, the DWI intervention program, the TAP evaluation, and follow recommendations. You're to have 6 months of ignition interlock monitor placed on your vehicle 6 months continuously. During those 6 months, you're not to drive anybody else's car except your own that has the ignition interlock. Is that understood?
Yes.
For the entire 1 year, you're not to have any alcohol. You're to obey the conditions of supervision. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. Your supervisory fee. Kirby Johnson, talk to me about the supervisory fee.
Well, Judge, due to the amount of his limited income, I'd ask that the supervisory fee be set at the lowest amount you can set it at. Because he's gonna have the $500 fine and all the other programs to pay for, so.
Mr. Ramirez, tell me why I should cut you some slack and make it just $25 a month. Now, let me tell you something. You're gonna have a problem. Do you have a lot of expenses, sir?
Not too bad. It could be worse.
Well, he wants you to tell him what they are.
Let me tell you
Uh,
why. Let me tell you why. I am willing to make a finding that you're indigent. Kirby, were you appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay. Do you receive any kind of governmental assistance?
No.
Are you helping anybody like your mom or dad or family?
I pay rent, but I live with them and I pay rent.
Okay, so you're helping your mom and dad.
I'm helping yes.
Okay. 500 a month is barely about 2,100 a month gross. Are you paying for your car?
Yes.
Cell phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Insurance also.
Yeah. All right. Because of your limited income, I find that you are indigent, which was a earlier finding already made by this court and the reason why you were appointed an attorney. I find that you're indigent for purposes of the law that says that with a 0.15 or higher, you would be fined a fine of $4,500 in addition to these costs and expenses. So with that finding, you will not have to pay this fine. At least I don't believe you will. The supervisory fee will be $27 a month.
Albert, normally I think it's 50 or 60 a month, so he's cutting you slack there.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Ramirez?
The supervisory fee a month, that's gonna be for the whole year.
That's for 12 months, yes, sir.
Okay, and can I pay it all off at once if I wanted to, or do I have to
That's-
pay monthly?
You can pay it off however you want to, but it
Okay.
has to be paid off within 1 year.
And I had one more question as well.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way I could get a occupational license?
Mr. Johnson could assist you with that, I'm sure.
Would it cost additional money?
Yes, sir. It is you have to file it as a civil lawsuit. That you'll have to discuss with Mr. Johnson or any other lawyer that you wish to hire for that purpose.
Okay, thank you.
What happened to your license right now? Is it suspended?
DMV suspended it. It's almost been suspended for a whole year, actually.
Whoa.
Judge, I think
Okay.
it's an administrative law suspension.
Hey, Lawrence. Did you have a hearing where they suspended your driver's license because you blew a .15 or higher? See, that's why I'm making this finding of indigence, because otherwise they would fine you another $4,500.
Did you get
All right.
notice from the government saying that there was a hearing regarding your stop for the DWI?
Well, that happened when he was arrested.
Yes, I did when I was arrested, but then
Yeah.
3 months, it got suspended for 3 months. But 3 months later, I got another note. It was resigning my notice of suspension because y'all have not received my alcohol level at the time. So it was suspended for 3 months, and then
They went
after
with
those after those 3 months, they started it back again for another year.
yeah.
So it's like I got extra additional time from them.
All righty. Mr.
Yeah.
Johnson, any particular further question?
No, Your Honor. Let me ask you this. Where does he get a personal data sheet?
I'm sorry?
Where does he get a personal data sheet to fill
When he
out?
comes in to sign, to get the thumbprint on the papers, the clerks will have those.
What's the personal data sheet?
It's
That's the one that has your name, address, the 3 people, your
Personal,
car, everything.
personal data sheet.
It's the one I told you to fill out.
Oh,
It's called a personal data sheet. It has to go with the paperwork.
and how do I find out who my probation officer is and all that?
Okay, you're gonna meet, right? Don't leave. You're gonna have a meeting with what's called a court liaison officer. She is named Maricela Luna. You will go in the breakout with her shortly, and she will give you all the information you need about probation, your officer, where you go, when, how, the whole thing.
Okay.
All righty? All right. Then you have no further question, Mr. Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Edelman?
Other from the state.
All right, then this concludes this particular hearing.